Let's bring in Andrew Stoltman, attorney and Northwestern adjunct law professor. Andrew, welcome.
Thank you.
So your reaction to the latest developments as it affects President Trump's legal team?
Look, I think this is a pretty good development insofar as the sentencing has been pushed off, because clearly what President Trump allegedly did were not official acts. But it's all about the evidence. And the Supreme Court has been crystal clear in its immunity decision this week that if you have official acts taken by the president, that can't be used as evidence in a criminal trial. And that's precisely what the prosecutors did in the New York hush money case. Now, Juan Merchan has a real problem on his hands. He has to try to decide whether the evidence that was presented of the official acts is enough to basically overturn the decision. This is a close one. I don't know what's going to happen. This judge has shown no preference for Donald Trump and actually has gone to the other end of the extreme. So we'll see what happens.
Okay, here is the status of Mr. Trump's legal cases. The Florida classified documents case is delayed indefinitely. The Georgia election interference and federal election case both on hold. And as we mentioned, the New York versus Trump trial sentencing is delayed. What effect could the Supreme Court decision have on these other cases?
Well, I don't think there's any question that the Atlanta state court case is DOA. That case is dead, because I think it's crystal clear that these were official acts. With respect to the classified document case, I think President Trump has a real problem on his hands with respect to that case. Specifically, most of the conduct that took place was conduct that took place after he left the presidency. That wouldn't be protected. I think that case is going to go forward. I think anything related to election interference is effectually dead for prosecutors. And that's obviously really good news for President Trump.
You have a prediction how things play out in New York in September?
Yeah. If I'm a betting man, I'd put the odds at 65 or 70% that these charges gets tossed. Now, what's funny is that there's so many other appealable issues for President Trump with respect to that case. You know, you had misdemeanor charges transmogrified into felony charges outside the statute of limitations, a novel argument by prosecutors that had never been used. So I think ultimately those charges are going to be overturned. The conviction's going to be overturned. I just don't know if it's going to be because of the Supreme Court immunity decision.
All right, let's turn to another legal matter. We're expecting closing arguments in the trial of New Jersey Democratic Senator Bob Menendez as early as Monday. This week, he chose not to testify. Here's why.
From my perspective, the government has failed to prove every aspect of its case. And for me, to testify and give them another chance to have, in essence, a second summation, go through the whole case again, and then go ahead and have their summation, and then have a rebuttal case at the end, is simply not something that makes any sense to me whatsoever. So we look forward to the summations.
Do you buy that, or is it about the gold bars and some of the other stuff are hard to explain?
Look, I don't blame him for not testifying, and clearly his lawyers were telling him not to, but I think he has an uphill climb in this case. You know, it's kind of hard to explain to a jury why you have $100,000 worth of gold bars in your house, why you have $410,000 in cash in your house. And I think devastating to him is the New Jersey businessman who basically said, look, I bought his wife a Mercedes-Benz as a bribe. That is devastating. That's the sort of direct evidence that jurors like to hear. I think he's in some real trouble, Mike.
Politicians and alleged corruption, not a new thing. How serious is Menendez versus some of the other cases we've seen over the years?
I think it's pretty serious. I mean, you have something that strikes at the core of democracy, right? A senator who's the chairman of a very powerful committee in the Senate, taking bribes from Egypt and other people. That's real serious stuff. And I think if he's convicted, he's likely going to go to prison. And remember, in 2017, he got a hung jury in another case on a corruption charge. So I don't know if where there's smoke, there's fire, but I do think he's in serious, serious legal peril.
Andrew Stoltman, thank you so much for your legal analysis today.
Happy for it. Thank you.